Naranam Naram Jayam Narottam Devyam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamati Nashtaprayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Prabhupada Lilamrita by Srila Goswami. So I forgot where Prabhupada is in India or outside. He was in Hawaii earlier, but anyway. So Madhu Dusha's telegram was a resignation from GBC. So he had resigned, and Prabhupada is saying, "What can I do?" Prabhupada said, "Sadly, I'm working with all third-class men, fools and rascals. Things are going on simply by Krishna's mercy." And he asked Madhu Dusha to come and speak with him. So one who falls from sannyas, Prabhupada replied, is called Vantasi, one who vomits and then eats it. So if they become grihasthas again, then how can they get Lord Chaitanya's mercy? Asking Harishori. So if the spiritual master gives that facility and makes that arrangement, said Prabhupada, then Krishna will accept the arrangement. Then later he can again become sannyasi. It had happened before, and Prabhupada mentioned a few cases where he had asked fallen sannyasis to get married and stay in the service. See, although socially it's a problem, it's a big thing if sannyasi falls down. And Prabhupada himself admitted, he gives sannyas to his disciples who were in mid-20s or late 20s. That's the age when body's hormones and they're really working. But he wanted to utilize that energy in service of Krishna and preaching. And many sannyasis could not keep up with the requirements of sannyasa ashram. So they ended up getting married, or they ended up uh, having affairs during while they were sannyasis, and in the end ended up getting married. But Prabhupada is so merciful. He's saying if the spiritual master gives that facility and makes that arrangement, then Krishna will accept the arrangement. So how powerful Prabhupada is, how surrendered, how devoted Prabhupada is, that even if a sannyasi falls down, fine, you stay in Grihastha ashram, keep preaching. And by Prabhupada's mercy, Krishna will still accept that person. That's mercy of Srila Prabhupada. And he said that happened before. And it will keep on happening in the future also. It can happen. Of course, it's a shameful position, he said, but what can be done? My god brothers and sannyasis in India criticize me for giving Brahman and sannyas initiation and installing deities in the West and allowing women to stay in the temples. But for all that, I'm expanding Krishna consciousness, and for all their strictness, they are doing nothing. If I discriminate, then I'll again be one alone, as I was in Vrindavan, and again become a mouse. Punam Mushika. So for expanding Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada took so many risks. Like he mentioned, giving Brahman and sannyas initiation, um, installing deities in the West. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But allowing women to stay in the temples never happens. Because sannyasis, brahmacharis, they can get attracted. Women get attracted to them, they get attracted to women. But just for expanding, just for preaching, Prabhupada allowed all this. In fact, once from Ramanuja Sampradaya, Shri Sampradaya. Some sannyasis, I don't know which temple they visited, ISKCON temple, and they commented the kind of risks you all take while preaching, because you're mingling with women for brahmacharis and even for grastas. He said, if we do take that risk, we'll fall down very soon. We are just very strict in our uh, ashrams rules. But for preaching's sake, you do take so much of risks. It's amazing. And they're very strict. Even if you go to Swaminarayan, Akshardham temple, their sannyasis or their brahmacharis, their strict rule, they follow many strict rules. One is every Ekadashi, Nirjala Ekadashi for them. And all of them, they have a big wooden bowl. So whatever is cooked, they mix everything, put in that wooden bowl and add some hot water, mix everything and then eat it. Means they don't even want to get attracted to the taste of the food. And like we shave, and while in the temple you used to shave head also, but they don't shave heads. They don't perform shave on the face also. Then what do? Because we don't see them having long hair or beard. They pluck their hair. It's not that easy. We can only imagine plucking the hair out. And like they came to ISKCON Delhi also, and in Dallas also they visited our temple. So this is that they follow, and they ask us because they don't look at the face of any women. So in Dallas, it became a big thing because there were so many Matajis. So we just had they're just visiting for maybe half an hour. So what's the big deal if you don't come in the temple for half an hour? So we just want to accommodate them. That's all. But this is their in the rules, very strict. But the kind of risks ISKCON devotees take in preaching and this and that, and when there is risk, there is chance of fall down. So it happens. But since they're doing it for the service, Prabhupada said, I give them the facility. It seems, said Harishauri, that it will take several generations before we can become purified. If one is sincere, Prabhupada replied, he can become purified even within one generation. That same evening, as Prabhupada prepared to stay up all night translating, he was still thinking of Madhudvisha. Nevertheless, he turned to translating the text in the chapter called The Elephant Gajendra's Crisis. The chapter told about the king of elephants, Gajendra, who lived on the heavenly planets. One day, Gajendra was bathing in the river along with his wives when suddenly a crocodile attacked. The crocodile fastened his jaws on Gajendra's leg, and although the elephant was very powerful, he could not release himself from the strong grip of the crocodile while in the water. Thereafter, Srila Prabhupada dictated, because of being pulled into the water and fighting for many long years, the elephant became diminished in his mental, physical, and sensual strength. The crocodile, on the contrary, being an animal of the water, increased in enthusiasm, physical strength, and sensual power. So, after fighting for many long years, I think the fight went on, if I'm not wrong, for 100 years. 100 years they were fighting. Elephant was trying to pull out, and crocodile was trying to pull him inside the water. And we know the story how then elephant just, he knew he was losing his strength. So he picked up one lotus flower from the lake and just prayed to Krishna. Because he was a devotee in his previous life, he remembered that. And he prayed to Krishna, and Krishna came. Vishnu came right away on Garuda, and he just released his Sudarshan Chakra, killed the crocodile, and saved the elephant. Beautiful pastime of Gajendra Moksha. And in that helpless situation, elephant was thinking, I mean, I spent all my life taking care of my family, pleasing my wife and children, and they're all standing on the banks and they cannot come and help me. In the end, only the Lord came. So we have to understand. Yes, we do have to do our duties, but in the end, only Krishna can help us. Only Krishna can save us. So Prabhupada is writing all this purpose. I can do it very quickly, Prabhupada had said, but I have to meditate, how to prepare it for the common man. How could he convey the significance of this event, which happened millions of years ago between two animals on a heavenly planet? How to make it clear and understandable and capture the essence of the significant Sanskrit words and the parampara comments of acharyas like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sanatana Goswami, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. In the quiet solitude of his room, Srila Prabhupada began speaking his purport. In the fighting between the elephant and the crocodile, the difference was that although the elephant was extremely powerful, he, he was in a foreign place, in the water. During 1000 years, not 100 years, 1000 years of fighting, he could not get any food, and under the circumstances, his bodily strength diminished. And because his bodily strength diminished, his mind also became weak and his senses less powerful. The crocodile, however, being an animal of the water, had no difficulties. He was getting food and was therefore getting mental strength and sensual encouragement. Thus, while the elephant became reduced in strength, the crocodile became more and more powerful. So, another thing is, elephant wasn't getting any food, and his mental strength and sensual senses became very weak. So, we also need, our body needs food. It's not like just by starving ourselves we can do it. Of course, yogis do that, but to come to that level, it takes time. We cannot imitate anybody, and everybody has his own capacity of his body requirement. Everybody's requirements are different, so we have to eat accordingly. Of course, moderately, but still, we need our food. So, not just by doing austerities, we think we can make progress. From this, we may take the lesson that in our fight with Maya, we should not be in a position in which our strength, enthusiasm, and senses will be unable to fight vigorously. Our Krishna consciousness movement has actually declared war against the illusory energy, in which all the living entities are rotting in a false understanding of civilization. The soldiers in this Krishna consciousness movement must always possess physical strength, enthusiasm, and sensual power. To keep themselves fit, they must all therefore place themselves in a normal condition of life. So, to keep themselves fit, they must always place themselves in a normal condition of life. Of course, that condition is different for everybody, depending upon our consciousness, our sanskaras, our mentality. Everybody has different. But the goal is sin. We have to fight with Maya, first to protect ourselves and to help others as preachers. What constitutes a normal condition will not be the same for everyone. Prabhupada continued. And therefore, there are divisions of Varnashram: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanpras, and Sannyas. Especially in this age, Kali Yuga, it is advised that no one take sannyas. From this, we can understand that in this age, the sannyas ashram is forbidden because people are not strong. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed us an example in taking sannyas at the age of 24 years. But even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya advised Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be extremely careful because he had taken sannyas at an early age. For preaching, we give young boys sannyas, but actually it is being experienced that they are not fit for sannyas. Sannyas ashram is very, very strict and very responsible ashram. It's a leader of all the other ashrams. There is no harm, however, if one thinks that he is unfit for sannyas. If he is very much agitated sexually, he should go to the ashram where sex is allowed, namely the Grihastha ashram. That one has been found to be very weak in one place does not mean that he should stop fighting the crocodile of Maya. One should take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, as we shall see Gajendra do. And at the same time, one can be a grihastha if he is satisfied with sexual indulgence. Again, sannyas, yes, it's an ashram and one can do lots of service being a sannyasi. But again, sannyas is not just changing of dress or changing the color of dress. When brahmacharis and also vanprasthis and sannyasi, only grihastha ashram, they can wear white or other colors, but all these other ashrams, they wear saffron color clothes. What does saffron mean? It not just means spirituality, because grihastha can also be spiritual. Sannyas means, or the saffron color means, one is socially dead. That Prabhupada has written in his purport on when Sati uh, went to Daksha's house and Daksha insulted Lord Shiva and he hadn't invited Sati for this program. And Sati just said, "Okay, I'm just gonna leave this body because it has been given by you." And she put on saffron garments and invoked the fire element in her body, and she left the body. She died. So why again put on saffron garments? Because that means death. Actually, it means death. So when somebody takes sannyas or becomes a brahmachari, means he's socially dead now. Nothing to do with the society, only for, not attached to the society. For preaching, yes, but nothing else. And complete attachment with Krishna. That is what Vaishnava sannyasi is. Mayavadi sannyasis, they also have sannyasa ashram. But then they say, okay, Brahm Satya Jagan Mithya. This material world is an illusion, so we have nothing to do with it. We only identify ourselves with Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. Philosophically, whatever right or wrong, but the idea is, as sannyasi means socially dead. But that doesn't mean only changing of color of the dress. Even somebody in white could be socially dead, could be so engaged and so much engaged in the service of the Lord. Even if he is a grasta, he could be considered as sannyasi. Maharaj Ambarish, Yudhishthira Maharaj, so renounced. Bhaktivinoda Thakur never took sannyas. He was a grasta with, I think, 11 or 12 children. But he is considered seventh Goswami. Later he took Babaji initiation, but he was so devoted, way beyond. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj used to come and listen to his lectures. So, so sannyas is not just changing of color of the clothes, it's a consciousness, how renounced we are. But at the same time, I mean, renunciation means how attached we are in the service of Krishna, in the service of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada allowed his sannyasi disciples, okay, you fell down, fine, become a grihastha and keep preaching. There is no need to give up the fight. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore recommended sthane sthita shuddhigatam tanuvan manobhi. One may stay in whichever ashram is suitable for him. It is not essential that one takes sannyas. If one is sexually agitated, he can enter the grihastha ashram, but one must continue fighting. For one who is not in a transcendental position to take sannyas artificially is not a very great credit. If sannyas is not suitable, one may enter the grihastha ashram and fight Maya with great strength. But one should not give up the fighting and go away. That's the most important thing. Fight against Maya. Means what is a fight? Means we try to dedicate ourselves, our lives, our energy, our body, our everything in service of Krishna. Maya will keep on pulling us away. Like yesterday, I posted that purport of Bhagavad Gita. We all have desires from previous so many lifetimes, unfulfilled desires are there. Maya, even if we are trying to make, and not even if, more when we're trying to make spiritual progress, Maya will test us more. More she will try to pull us away. And we have our previous sanskaras, previous um, activities that are in our mind, the resultants are there, and those inclinations are there. But we have to keep on chanting, keep on serving Krishna. And Krishna obviously is the Supreme Lord. If we are surrendered, He will protect us and Maya will be defeated. But we have to take shelter wholeheartedly, just like Gajendra did. From out of his direct confrontation with the forces of illusion, Srila Prabhupada presented his realizations. He had taken the case of Madhudvisha, refined it of its temporal aspects, and immortalized it into an instruction for persons everywhere. So he has written in the purports of Bhagavatam, it's for everybody. He didn't put down the name, so who did what. Well, that wasn't important. The, the situation was important. Prabhupada's job was to strengthen his disciples so they would not fall. Even if they took to the Grihastha ashram, the crocodile of sense gratification was still very strong. And illicit sex was a permanent disease of the Western people. They were raised on it and addicted to it, and their society promoted it. What to speak of Western people, even in India, is so prominent now. And they make all sorts of claims and excuses and um, women liberation or this or that to do all kinds of sinful activities in the name of okay, this we are getting. Uh, um, I don't want to use the word forward, saying okay, all the non-doers are backwards, but this is the criteria of being successful and being happy, to break all the principles happily. And and it goes way beyond what we can even think of. Way beyond that. And this is the standard of happiness. And this is how the society has become now. To change this mentality would be very difficult. Therefore, in addition to writing, Prabhupada would have to continue traveling and preaching to sustain his disciples and make them strong preachers. So he was continuously traveling, even at this old age, and traveling by flight and going to different countries and different places. It's not that easy. Not easy, especially for Prabhupada at this age. But he did it to sustain his disciples and make them strong preachers so they don't fall down. To sustain means to give them encouragement, to give them, to show them by his own example how things can be done and how they should be strong in the sadhana, very, very strong in attending morning program. And that's how they could sustain in their spiritual lives. And of course, Prabhupada wanted to give them personal association also. And again, coming back to the fall down position, fall down word. So, what is fall down? Fall down, okay, understand sannyasa ashram. But fall down, if we look at the word, it means if one is running, then only he can fall down. He can trip and fall down. Or if one is walking. If he's running, there are more chances. If he's walking, there are less chances. But if somebody is crawling, there's no fall down. Means the devotee who fell down or will fall down in future also. Means they've been running to protect others